Time now for another edition of Coach's Corner here on Crusaders TV. We're 3/4 away through the 2015-16 regular season. I'm joined by Crusaders GM and head coach Tim Fragle. And Tim, you guys are in 5th spot right now, but it's funny just the way the division has worked out. If you guys were in the South, you'd be in 2nd or 3rd. It's amazing the teams that, not only your team, but the teams in front of you, how well they've done this so far this year. Kind of a weird spot being in 5th right now, but with 60 points.
Yeah, we've talked about that as a staff. We, in my years, you look at the last couple of years, we finished, a few games over 500, and that puts you in home ice, 4th or 5th. Mm-hmm. And this year, our winning percentage is much higher, but yeah, we're still in 5th. So that's a credit to the parity in the league, I guess, especially in our division. And year to year, that just shows, you never really can predict what's going to actually happen based on, the quality of all the teams in our league.
How much does that make the job tougher on you and the coaching staff? Because night in, night out, points aren't going to be easy, and the teams ahead of you are probably going to be winning.
That's just it. I mean, I think in all my experiences now that I'm, day-to-day riggers, looking at video, those types of things, every coach and staff does their job. So when they come into our rink or we go into their rink, there's no secrets. It's about who can execute, and I think that, for me personally, has been probably the noticeable change, is that everybody does their homework more so now than ever.
For your group through this 3/4 of the way through it, and obviously going into the end of the regular season, I mean, the scoring's there. Do you think maybe the one thing that's lacked in your guys' game has maybe been consistency in terms of 60 minutes?
I think so. I think that would be one, and I think two other areas that we've really talked about is, number one, team defense. We need to be committed to playing better in our own end and better without the puck. And then the most important thing is discipline for us. We need to be more disciplined. Right now we're at a minus 53 power play opportunities to time shorthanded, and that's just too many. You can't expect to win when you're taking that many penalties. So those would be the three things, no question.
And what have you liked about your team this year? I mean, you guys, we mentioned the scoring, the offense. It really seems top to bottom you're getting contributions from whatever 4 lines that you have night in, night out.
Yeah, I feel like this year you're in every game. I know there's been a couple that got away from us, but there's also been a couple that's went in our favor. Those are going to happen throughout a full year, but most night we're in the hockey game, whether we play exceptional or not, or we struggle, still feel like we have a chance to win, and that could be maybe because we are a bit of an older team with some experience.
Yeah, I know you're right about that. I mean, 20-year-olds aren't up there, but you do have a lot of 19-year-olds as well as 18 and some good experience. And one of those guys is Tyler Maltby, leading the way for you with 32 goals on the season. Just talk about, again, what he brings to this team and the kind of year he's had.
Yeah, I mean, he's a threat when he gets the puck. I would argue probably blue line down, one of the toughest guys to defend in our league. Mm-hmm. He sees the ice, has good vision, but also has good touch. So he's a threat when he gets out there.
And he was a part of your team at Team Canada West for that gold medal run at the World Junior A Challenge. I want to ask you, he was on pace for 50 goals. Do you wonder if maybe not only this year with Tyler and in the past when you have guys like Cody Kunik or Peter Quinville, if they don't go to those events, they might get to 50 goals. It's been a while since the league's seen a 50-goal score.
That's a good point. I mean, I never really thought of that. He'd probably be close. That being said, I always find the goals that he may score in the first 20 games are tougher to come by in the last 20. Mm-hmm. Teams keying on him and getting those tougher matchups and limited time and space. So, and again, that goes back to what I said about the coaching, how good the coaching is at our level. Again, everybody's doing their homework, and they're making it tougher on him and other offensive guys to keep that pace up. And again, I think that just speaks to the the parity in our league.
How was that Team Canada experience, by the way? You come back with gold medal, and obviously a very fun time, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's you go there, and 2 years ago I went there, and we didn't have success. And I thought long and hard about the commitment it was going to take when they offered the head coaching position, and I felt like, if I'm going to do it, you got to go all the way in, and I felt like those 3 weeks that I was away, I could solely focus on coaching the hockey team, and I felt like that was a real one of the contributing factors why we won. Everything was focused on how do we adjust, how do we come together as a team, and then when the final buzzer goes, you feel like, hey, we won gold medal. It's all worth it now. All the time away from my wife and kids, and all the time away from our hockey team, it's all worth it.
And then you come back after the Christmas break, and in this month of January, slow out of the gate, and you don't make a move at the deadline, trade deadline date. but it seems that your team has repaid you for saying thanks for not making any moves and sticking with our group, because you guys have kind of found your stride again, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, fact of the matter was on January 10th, it was quiet. I mean, everybody, I think, was trying to add. I just don't think there was a lot of teams looking to delete. And we were very active, but unfortunately, come up empty-handed and then lost the player as well, so that puts us a little short-handed. But at the same time, the message to the room was exactly that. Like, we feel we still have a good team whether we added or deleted anybody. Now it's time for us to put the excuses aside and go out and play. And now the pressure's on everybody in there to perform every night.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like you guys are doing that right now. That game against Drumheller, maybe one of the most complete games of all season. And then Canmore, you're able to pull away. It's almost like back in November again. You're finding ways to win games differently.
And I found that with the Drayton Valley game as well. It's a 3-2 game. We call that late timeout, and then we score 2 quick goals, and we're in control of the hockey game. And then same with Drumheller, 2 quick goals in the second period, and I felt like that kind of deflated them a little bit. But like as you said, finding different ways to win, and in this league you have to. You can't just rely on one way or a couple ways to win. You have to find different ways. And
you've gone to the blender in terms of line combinations a couple times, and looked like you found a bit of a groove with Brett Van Ost, Devin McAndrews, and Darcy Zaharchuk. Is it kind of easier to make the decision to juggle the lines when you have that much depth?
Yeah, I think, and then even with that, we had some injuries. So, on paper, you draw up some lines and you think, I don't know if that's going to work. And then, you make an in-game adjustment and it works, and you still look at it. You still look at it and you think, I don't know if that's going to work. So even now that we've got a couple guys back from injury, Rotundo and Azitko, so now we shuffle the lines a little bit here today at practice, and you just hope that it works. But regardless, we feel we've got 4 lines that can play, and six defensemen, well 7. I mean, with Benny McLeod out, that can play every day. So again, that's something we feel like we have here is depth, and we've seen it in years past. We've lost out because we haven't had enough depth, and that's how we're built this year.
Going forward, you guys get both Calgary teams this weekend. No easy games again in the Alberta Junior Hockey League, and the Canucks have given you some fits over the years in their barn. How do you come out with 2 victories going forward this weekend?
The Canucks have been playing real good hockey of late. I've watched a few of their games. They're playing very good, so that'll be a tough test for us, considering, as you said, we just have had not had success. And a lot of that has been attributed to playing those Sunday afternoon games, those 3-game road trips in 2.5 days. This year we're going up on a Saturday, which will be different, to play in Calgary on a Saturday. And then on Sunday we have the Mustangs, who again have played much better since they've kind of got out of that little bit of a funk there, and they're strong on home ice. And by no means can you look too far ahead and think that we're going to have 2 points each night, because each game's its own, and we got to treat it that way.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, it's a pretty tough schedule down the stretch. You see Brooks, Camrose, and Whitecourt, I think, in your final 3 games. 2 against Bonnyville, you see Lloyd again, so no easy games. Drayton Valley will throw a couple in there as well. I think that's the rest of the schedule almost. But is your sight set on that 4th spot, or do you guys need to take it a game at a time? Because you're 7 points back of Bonnyville right now. Is it that mindset where it's just a game at a time rather than our goal is 4th?
It has to be a game at a time, because again, in a 7-game or a 5-game series, it's a game at a time. You can get up and have a big lead, and then the next game it's a new game. Vice versa, you can have a tough one go against you, and then so it's a game at a time. And we're just worried about getting better. And obviously, ultimate goal would be to get home ice in the first round, but there's 4 good teams ahead of us, and that's going to be difficult. They're looking to win and hold those home ice advantages in their favor, so it's going to be a challenge.
All right, Tim. Well, thanks a lot here for joining us on Coach's Corner. The Crusaders 3/4 of the way through the season, sitting in 5th place. Thanks a lot, Tim.